A quick warning before we begin. This episode contains strong and offensive language. Unless otherwise stated, all emails are read from originals sent to Hannah. We left the last episode discovering a phone number written in an email to Hannah.
Please call me via WhatsApp if you want to know the truth, as I do. Well...
You never called that number?
No.
When Hannah saw the email with this number early on while recording for this series, she didn't know what to think.
Maybe it was hackers and they gave his girlfriend's number. Or maybe it was actually his girlfriend giving her number. Or maybe it was hackers giving a number of, a colleague of his, just to...
We don't know. I mean, do you know?
No. I have no idea. Do you?
The timing of the email is curious. Hannah got it when she was in Florida with Kin back in December 2017.
I'm really, really scared.
Please stop.
Get the fuck out. Leave your shit. Get out.
Hannah just wanted to get away from Kin. She wasn't paying much attention to her inbox, which was filling up with emails.
Why have you chosen to ignore that Kin has a long-term girlfriend? I'm not sure what Kin has told you about.
It wasn't unusual for Hannah to receive strange emails from Kin's accounts. You might remember she was receiving weird messages, purportedly from the girlfriend, months before they went to Florida together, when they were still friends.
This is Kin's girlfriend.
I am Kin's boyfriend. Nice to meet you too. This is Kin's ladyboy. Great to meet you.
These weird messages also came from Kin's own accounts. Kin's explanation was that all these strange emails were being sent by hackers. Although when we contacted the IT company, he said he'd hired to sort this out.
That I'm flying to London now, to the Gemini HQ. You are most welcome to join at Cap Gemini if you want to.
They told us they had no record of a Kin Hung, or the other name he used, David Hung, ever being a client. It's more than a year on, we've got no idea who really sent the so-called girlfriend emails. Maybe Kin thought an invented suspicious girlfriend would make Hannah find him more desirable.
Did Kin pay for your flight over to Florida? Have you no empathy, no sense of what is right or wrong?
Or maybe there genuinely was a suspicious partner.
Hi, Hannah. This is Kin's long-term girlfriend.
And the other thing we notice is that there's a real urgency to these emails.
Kin is hiding his whole real life. Please believe me, this is a real person.
Hannah received 14 messages in under 3 hours.
What is your relationship with Kin?
I am a real person and not a hacker. I just want to know the truth. Me find out the truth.
And in the final one was the phone number.
Please call me via WhatsApp if you want to know the truth, as I do.
On 07.
We've looked into this phone number and we've established that it's been used by a real person. We're not going to say her name. We just don't know enough about her or her connection to Kin, or if she's involved in any way at all in any of this. At this stage, all we know is that she's connected to somewhere in Surrey, just outside London, a place we know Kin also has connections. And it looks like, at some point, they were a couple. She's the same woman we've seen pictured next to Kin in photos. There's a man and a woman smiling for the camera. The man's arm is resting on her shoulders, and videos posted online, including at a fashion event. So, all right, let me try this number. We decide to call the number. We want to ask her if she genuinely did send those emails to Hannah, or if he just used her name without her knowledge. You know, the last time I did this, I got through to a Russian spy. No pressure. Or she knows absolutely nothing about any of this. I suppose it could be Kin. Fuck, I hadn't even thought of that. No, all right. Wrong out.
I think we should go to the place in Surrey that we know Kin had businesses.
Okay, you've got some moves, but you haven't got much time, Rob. Just saying.
I know.
Just saying. From BBC Sounds, This is Stalked.
I'm Hannah Mossman-Moore.
And I'm Carole Cadwalladr. Episode 9, The Girlfriend. We're recording this episode in late March 2025. By now, we've helped Hannah make sense of some of what's happened, to see through the web of confusing characters.
Hi, Hannah Mossman-Moore. Stalking you has its benefits. Fun learning so much about life.
You're looking for horror with no morals and no class. What you've seen so far is nothing.
Gathering evidence that suggests that Kin was, ultimately, her anonymous stalker. Hannah's also got an admission from the Met Police that they fell short of what was expected in her case.
We recognise the service the victim received between 2018 and 2020 fell short of what's expected.
Kin vehemently denies all the allegations made against him in this series, including that he was ever aggressive towards Hannah in Florida or that he ever stalked or harassed her. And although he said that through his London lawyers, Kin hasn't said more about his claims that he was hacked. Nor, when we recently asked him, did he agree to be interviewed for this podcast. Well, we've gone some way to debunking the image that Kin presented to Hannah, and we think we know more about who Kin isn't, we're still not sure who he really is. So, in your head, who is Kin?
Well, I was always quite impressed with his connections and life in London at the beginning, and I'd say, oh, your life in London's so cool, like, how did you do it? And he's like, well, if you think this is cool, you should experience my life in Hong Kong. They roll out the red carpet for me. And so I think I thought, oh, okay, he must be a really big deal in Hong Kong.
And on top of these unknowns...
Well, Hannah and Carole join us now. Thanks so much for being with us.
Hannah is also grappling...
This is real life. This is what you had been through.
...with the challenges of going public with her story.
Tell us how it all happened.
So it was in 2015 and I was in my early 20s.
Hello?
It's something that came up when she met with her dad. Hannah is in her dad's London flat. It's a bright space, crammed with books and photographs.
There's some bottled water down there.
Dave's a photographer and he and Hannah are about to go to the cinema together. But before that, there's time to catch up.
I was a bit nervous early on about what the reaction would be. I was just waiting for these people to come out of the woodwork and make really nasty comments, because I've seen that so many times. And there didn't seem to be that many.
Oh no!
No, there were so many. Dad, I was...
Inevitably, there have been some.
I wanted to know what you thought of this, actually. A lot of people are calling me, like, that posh bird.
Well, that's okay.
With the annoying accent.
Yeah.
So what was the conversation?
So basically my dad was like, Rob said, how have you been finding it? And he said, well, I've just expected to see nasty comments, but there haven't been that many. And I was like, Dad, are you kidding? Like, there have been so many saying, sugar baby, posh bird, Princess Diana. And anyway. Oh, I was like, annoying accent. And he was like, oh, really? And he was like, but that's not true. You're not a posh bird. That was a conversation. Or even the victim blamed me stuff like she asked for it.
Have you been looking them out, the comments?
Yeah, because I think that's just the way I am. There's a lot of pressure to be like a true victim and get help and get taken seriously, to have not made mistakes and bad choices. It's like, I made so many bad choices. I accepted so many dinners and whatever from Kin, and I thought he could mentor me, and I enjoyed the life and the free stuff, but that doesn't mean that I sort of deserve the hacking and the stalking.
But you can see all those reasons why you kept this to yourself for so long, right? Because that kind of sense of shame or embarrassment or blaming yourself, etc., etc. The things that they're saying now are almost things that you were sort of thinking, and that's what stopped you, prevented you from getting the help that you needed, wasn't it?
And it's funny because reading those comments, there's almost like a tiny part of me that kind of agrees. That I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I did ask for it. And then I have to check myself and say, No.
People are very judgy like that in class.
Back at her dad's flat, Dave reassures Hannah that it's nothing worth worrying about.
People like to put you in a pigeonhole.
Yeah.
Especially compared to what was happening when the stalking was at its worst. Such as when Hannah moved back in and strange posts started arriving.
Things used to be delivered here.
In one of the WhatsApp groups impersonating Hannah, a photo was posted of her half-sister's front door.
I remember she was scared to walk from the tube to her house in case she got attacked. I remember paying for her to get an Uber door to door because that's the only way she would go home. I just thought, oh, this is really causing quite a bit of damage.
Damage which has also caused Dave to reflect on his own role in what was happening.
I wanted you to have freedom, and I felt that you had the tools necessary, and that my job was to back off.
Yeah.
And that's partly why I was a bit shocked about what happened, because I had backed off, and I had a lot of faith in you, but I still felt guilty. I should have done it differently. I should have been there, or I should have picked up on it. Did you ever feel guilty? Did you feel like you'd brought all this on your family?
So much. I mean,
Is that why you kept quiet about it?
I did feel responsible. Seeing people I was close to sort of start to get stressed and uncomfortable and annoyed, and I started to feel like this was my mess to sort out.
But with this digital stuff, it's kind of all over the place, and you don't know what the hell's going on really, where it's coming from.
Back then, it was just all so confusing.
I really didn't want to involve anyone that I cared about, because they might be roped in.
And they were all different characters, right? Because that was the whole... You did believe that they were all these different people, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I've even got an email that I sent to a friend at the time saying, oh yeah, I'm being hacked by a team of hackers. I think I was very taken in by this fake world. Did you hear the last episode?
Well, I haven't listened to this one.
Before Hannah and Dave head off to the cinema, there's just enough time to discuss one thing we're still trying to figure out.
We have the girlfriend's number.
Yeah.
The girlfriend.
I did try with Carole on WhatsApp.
Just once, though.
Rob, the producer, has been trying it.
What happened?
No answer. It rang.
If there ever is an answer, Dave isn't so sure it would be from a girlfriend.
My intuition would be that it's all him.
Yeah?
Really?
Why do you say that?
It's just a feeling. I just think it's 100% just him.
Luckily, we know some people who might be able to help us figure this out.
Hey, Georgia.
Here's Dr. Robert Leonard. We're back with the forensic linguists. But before we get into it, there's something everyone is talking about at the moment. The recent Netflix hit,
Adolescence.
Yeah. And there's a particular reason for Robert's interest.
Revolves in a very interesting plot point about emojis.
Yeah, I've seen it.
They have this detective who is so knows everything, and the son says, listen, you don't know anything. This is what's going on. And he shows him how all these emojis, it's such a marvelous thing. But it was a very interesting forensic linguistic kind of thing.
With that out of the way, we tell them we want to see if there are any similarities or differences between the messages from the so-called girlfriend, those sent by Kin, and the anonymous emails, which we now believe were also sent by Kin. They say to leave it with them, but before we go, they want to tell us about something we haven't mentioned yet: community of practice. That's the idea that people who spend a lot of time together or are from similar places end up sounding like each other.
That could easily explain the similarities between Kin and his assistant.
Hi, Hannah. This is Kin's EA, Claire.
Being two different people, but because they belong to that same community of practice, they could share features such as those features that they share.
Oh, that's interesting.
The fact that they are a community of practice, they work together, common goals, common communication. Also, one is superior to the other in status. And it would make a lot of sense that at least a lot of features, the assistant would mimic the boss. So when we see similarities there, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the same person. And that's going to feature here somewhat with the girlfriend.
We do think that, like Kin, she's originally from Hong Kong. So it's possible they share a similar demographic background. Here's Marlon.
Speaking demographically, there are many dialects across the world that omit the copula because you don't need it.
Examples of copular verbs include to be, appear, become, look, smell.
You're just linking a subject with a quality is essentially what it is. There are tons of dialects that do that. So that is potentially a point of interference, we call it. Another potential piece of demographics is actually in the number non-agreement.
Any assistances would be tremendously appreciated.
Many Asian languages don't have plural. They have a standalone word to indicate that it's more than one. So the number non-agreement is potentially a confusion because it's not something that's native to their dialect.
And then there's the fact that the possible partner in the emails refers to herself as Kin's long-term girlfriend. Marlon says that if the girlfriend is real and had sent those emails, it could explain similarities that are found.
You have people who spend a lot of time around each other pursuing the same goals. They end up, or in a marriage or in a long-term relationship, they end up using language much like each other. Just kind of putting it in perspective, your colleagues at the BBC, you spend all this time working together, working around each other. Inevitably, you're going to pick up elements of each other's language so that if people like us were trying to tell you apart, we would have to account for that.
Basically, this is going to be quite hard.
The long and the short of it is, we wouldn't be surprised if they were all the same person, and we wouldn't be surprised if it was a different person.
But they agree to look. And while they do, we return to the so-called girlfriend's emails ourselves. The first message came about 8 months after Hannah first met Kin in April 2016.
This is Kin's girlfriend.
Like the later ones, the email came from one of Kin's own accounts, to which, as you might remember, Hannah replied,
"Hi, it's great to meet you, albeit virtually, smiley face."
Hannah then received a barrage of strange emails, also from Kin's account.
I am Kin's boyfriend. Nice to meet you too. This is Kin's ladyboy. Great to meet you. Sadly, I have been his boyfriend for over 20 years.
I just thought, wow, that really sucks. Gosh, that is quite a severe hack. And I felt sorry for him.
And a similar pattern followed the next year. First, an email sent by the so-called girlfriend.
This is Kin's girlfriend. What relationship do you have with Kin?
Then,
BTW, why does Kin want you when he has me? Look at my fab body. My booty is only for Kin. Keep away from him. Will God help you? God help you all.
Followed by,
Yo, lady, get your rich boyfriend to pay our ransom. You have no idea who he is and how much monies he has got.
He's a wealthy guy. Obviously, he's going to get hacked. I was just thinking that it's hackers and it was weird.
And again, when Hannah and Kin were together in Florida, following the stream of messages said to be from the girlfriend,
I am a real person and not a hacker,
came,
Yo, lady, we will go away forever. Or, with one click, heavies will be down where you live.
To us, it seems like there's a pattern here. Hannah receives an email said to be sent by Kin's girlfriend, and then she receives even stranger messages, which Kin explains as being sent by hackers, not his girlfriend. And if you're confused, well, so are we. And so was Hannah. And while we're trying to figure all this out, we thought we'd check back in with Dr. Alan Underwood.
Hello.
Hi, Alan. It's Rob. I
a
think
clinical psychologist who treats people who've stalked. So Hannah heads back to the secret location with Rob, the producer.
I'm good. Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How about
you? What the weather will be?
Alan, we were just trying to figure out how long it was since we last
18 months.
Alan's keen to see how Hannah's coping with the podcast.
Because I think you messaged Georgia and said, like, if I wanted to talk at any point.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of got quite big, I think, is probably from the perception I've had from people sort of talking to me about it. I'm just wondering how you've found that, and was that sort of a surprise?
It's interesting because I started out from a whodunit angle, really wanting to know sort of answers for myself. But I think speaking to Clive and Sue, Alice's parents, was like a massive turning point for me, because it really made me realise how lucky I am to have a voice. And actually, I think that's what has enabled me to continue recording, because I realised that I had a responsibility that was beyond me. But on a personal level, it has been really, it's been, I think probably everything that happened to me is like surfacing. And so I have found myself feeling really flat and depressed and demotivated, just really coming to terms with what happened and how that was a big part of my life, like 10 years of my life.
Life is messy.
Alan reassures her that these feelings are normal. It's possible they're just surfacing now.
Recording this, I think I've cried like maybe once or twice, but in Berlin I had to present a testimony.
For Hannah, it all came to a head recently when she gave testimony about her experience at something called the Court of the Citizens of the World.
So let's begin. She wants to read her statement.
Thank you, Your Honours.
The aim was to tell the court about the role technology played in her being stalked.
Today, I would like to make this testimony on behalf of someone close to my heart. Someone from my high school. Alice Ruggles.
But when it came to telling her story...
Here is my story. Sorry.
She broke down.
Okay, I just need a minute. Sorry. It made it so real, and I couldn't stop crying. I had to really speak through tears. I began to receive a barrage of emails. I had to keep taking breaks and just pulling myself together. WhatsApps and calls from a whole cast of characters.
And often people will keep going, keep coping, and there was always, I guess, kind of a tipping point to people's ability to cope. And I guess when you're sort of talking about it in that more formal setting, it perhaps then becomes sort of real, I guess, in terms of the enormity of it.
Sorry.
For us, it's time to go back to the forensic linguists.
Hello. Oh, it's good to see you. You as well.
After our last call, we weren't expecting much.
Hey, Rob.
Our pleasure. Anybody else coming from your side?
Rob is coming.
Oh, okay.
But...
that's some very good stuff, actually.
Oh, really? I think so, yeah.
Hello, everyone. Here we are again.
So, we have some very good stuff for you, especially the tremendous digging that Marlon and Julianne did.
Let's get into it.
One of the excellent features is the use of what in the biz is called protasis and apodosis.
They sound like Greek gods.
Well, it is. It comes down to the if-then clauses. If the stock market goes up, then I will go to Spain because they have more vacations there or something, as you said. All right. Julianne came up with a really, really interesting skewing. Julianne?
That in the girlfriend stuff, we find if-then statements across multiple sentences.
So if you received the email asking who you are, period, it was from me. If you need further proof that I am not a hacker, period, in the Naples house, you'll find, my lotion.
If you need further proof that I'm not a hacker,
period,
in the Naples house, in main bedroom, ensuite bathroom.
We find Greek gods in all of the other data sets.
Greek gods being the if or then.
We don't find them separated into individual sentences. This kind of verifies our data set as girlfriend being cohesive, but also to the exclusion of the other data sets.
Right. And Marlon came up with some very interesting stuff too.
Sure, it may not quite be as gangbusters as what Julianne found, but the negative contractions.
Contractions being could have to could have. That's a positive contraction. Or could not to couldn't, a negative contraction. Remember, K are the known kin emails that we know were written by kin. Q are the question emails. What Marlon found is that in the girlfriend dataset,
if contractions appeared, Q girlfriend only contracted the negative items where the other data sets were comfortable contracting both. Q girlfriend had clear preference for negative contractions.
He couldn't fly back to London to you.
Q girlfriend shows a clear 100% preference for negative items and not positive contractions.
Kin is lying to you.
The abusive Qs are perfectly fine to contract both positive and negative items. And Kin is fine to contract both as well.
How's your Monday?
Positive and negative.
I don't remember much. Heard it's super cool. My IT guys still haven't met. And you're most welcome.
It's the same for the compound words.
In English, our compound words can be great fun because they can either be two separate words, they can be a single word, or they can be hyphenated. We noticed, for instance, that Q girlfriend will occasionally put a space between girl and friend, where the other texts, when they talk about boyfriend, it's always presented as one word.
It really bespeaks different authors, right? Especially they accrete up to quite a little basket of features that clearly point one way or another, and all of them do, at least the ones we've just discovered. Also, this is not the kind of thing that we typically would expect to be smoothed over by community of practice.
And there's more.
I'll actually punt the last one, BT dubs, back to Julianne because this one's,
I love it.
This one's fun.
Nail yourself to your seats, guys.
It's just the use of abbreviations in general. And a general pattern was that kin often capitalizes abbreviations, whereas the Q girlfriend doesn't. They don't even use them in the same way, kind of by any metric. So we have in the girlfriend, it's really sad to have to read all these messages, BTW, and kin. So this is lowercase BTW, it means between, this is a statement. Whereas what we have in kin is uppercase BTW, why 5 a.m. train to Paris? BTW, what you up to now?
What are you up to now?
BTW, is there any gas and gas boiler in the flat?
And the only other place where this appears is also fully capitalized, meaning by the way, and in a question. Which is in Q Foods.
So that's in one of the anonymous, isn't it? Q Foods was the anonymous.
Yes. Yeah. There were a couple, and this might be them, that were like, I'm Kin's boyfriend.
BTW, why does Kin want you when he has me? Look at my fab body. Get real, Kin. You are crazy to want anybody else.
That's interesting.
Well, the theory, I suppose, that we're floating is that Hannah receives an email from one of Kin's accounts purporting to be from the girlfriend, and then it's followed by a flurry of strange messages.
That actually works to link Kin further to the Q Foods text.
So that's where we are on the last research question you guys gave us.
To sound like Carole, who isn't here, in summary...
Could you give like a headline summary of what you feel you found here?
I think based on everything that we've kind of discussed internally, it does seem that Q girlfriend, while being a member of the same speech community or community of practice, is a standalone individual.
Which is the superior hypothesis? That randomly, whoever wrote the Kin also just varied, but systematically, in ways that he never varies from, and does this in a variety of features. Which is the superior hypothesis? Clearly that it's not the same person. Now, there's always things that we can't account for. And this is what we always say on the stand. Look, jury, try to explain it this way and try to explain it that way. Which is the more likely? It's clearly more likely this one.
The forensic linguists can only look at what they have in front of them, and there are always things we don't know. But it's not just the language in the messages that contain clues, there are other details too. A couple of months before they went to Florida, Kin lent Hannah a Celine bag.
It was such a nice bag. It was like the nicest bag I've ever held.
Because how much would one of those be?
A lot. Like loads. It was like one of the new ones as well.
You thought it was a loan app from a brand or something?
Yeah. Oh, he's in fashion. He's lending me a handbag for a bit. And then he said,
Hey, as discussed,
can you send it back? Because I've got to send it for repair in Paris.
please arrange for the return of the Celine bag on loan to you by courier or in person at your earliest convenience.
Because whoever he got it from, I think he needed to give it back.
Many thanks, Kay.
Kin's email copied in a work colleague. We know it was a colleague because they both shared a work email address. A colleague who seems to have a very similar name, same surname, same initial, to his then girlfriend. Not too long after, Hannah received another message.
So this was one I actually got on WhatsApp from Kin's number.
Said, again, to be written by Kin's girlfriend.
And it said, please would you tell me what relationship he has with you for you to be out every night and help you do chores and bring you food that was for me, loan you my Celine bag, ?
And it's not the only place this woman's name, or versions of it, crops up.
There's certainly some questions raised.
Remember the property deal? Now then, here's the big question. Is there a differential in price? The one where it looks like Kin flipped a multi-million-pound property in a day, making a tidy profit. That's a pretty impressive flipping. Well, the witness to the signature on that deal is the same name of the woman who was copied into the email.
Please arrange for the return of the Celine bag.
About the Celine bag.
And you're most welcome to borrow it again after repair.
At this point, we're thinking these two very similar names are likely the same person. Kin's once girlfriend. That girlfriend also seems to work at that elusive company, Foods I Adore. She has a Foods I Adore email address, and so we email. Like our phone call to her number, we never get a reply. So we decide to hedge the address that Foods I Adore is registered at.
And one of the few things we had is this address for a co-working space.
The office is in Surrey, just outside London, where we called earlier in the series and someone remembered Kin's name. It's definitely a bit less glamorous than the Mayfair spots we sent Hannah into first. Here we reverse the tactic.
So we're on the early train down here?
Sending Rob and Georgia, the producers, in instead.
Which I nearly missed.
They head to the Surrey office, and once inside, the staff at the reception seem a bit cagey. After chatting for 15 minutes or so, Georgia and Rob leave and discuss what they've learned in a nearby car park.
We could see the other side of reception. There were all these pigeonholes for post, and there was one with that woman's name on.
That woman being Kin's once girlfriend.
It's her company, they said. And they said that Kin hasn't worked for them for the past few years. They couldn't pinpoint it exactly.
Which is odd because the UK company Foods I Adore was struck off a decade ago. What's more, the only company director listed is Kin.
The only thing that kind of sparked something was one of them said they'd taken a couple of calls recently a man calling on Kin's behalf, saying don't accept any post for him, and sounding like they were probably quite insistent on that you can't accept any post.
Any recorded delivery post. She said she was a little bit thrown by it, wasn't she? Like,
thought it was a bit
odd.
It's all quite curious. And not far from the shared office space is another building we want to check out.
We figured it's worth just asking around.
This one, we know, is connected to Kin.
Let's go and
get on the bikes.
We got a tip-off from someone who knows Kin. And when we follow up, on the land registry, we see that Kin is the co-owner. Finally, a property that he actually owns. It's a 2-storey house, and from the outside, it looks empty. There's moss on the roof and gutters, the curtains are drawn. A car is covered up in the driveway. The house seems completely abandoned. Georgia and Rob don't even knock at the door. But then they manage to speak to the neighbours. And what they learn only adds to our suspicions about Kin. Although here in Surrey, that's not the name they know him by. Next time on Stalked, David.
I almost wonder if Kin was the one he used for his fashion. Yeah, I'd say it's probably been worth it.
Definitely.
But weird.
We're still working on the story, but I just wanted to let you know that there'll be no new episode next week. However, episode 10, the final episode of Stalked, will be out on Tuesday, the 15th of April. Catch you then.